Yo, so we back on this special Halloween episode of the Undisputed GOAT podcast, man. I got my guys Flash and BRF here, man. Shout out to Columbus, Georgia. Y'all know what it is, man. Good night tonight, man. And look here, it is 69 degrees down here in the city of Columbus, Georgia. Great weather today, man. And quite frankly, man, I'm just excited to be here, man. The boys of the fall are here. Matter of fact, the boys of the fall are in the World Series at this point. So I got to ask y'all this, man. Y'all the baseball experts, man. Look, I know we was going to get into it later in the segment, man, but y'all being the baseball guys that y'all are on this exciting day of college football, man, what did y'all think? And I have to ask y'all this early, man, because like I said, I'm the pipe bomb king. What did y'all think about Freddie Freeman, hitting that walk-off grand slam the way he did, man? Y'all being the baseball experts that y'all are.
Go ahead, BRF.
I'll start it since, I have that forever connection with Freddie Freeman. I'm happy for him. Like, I know there are going to be some fans who are like, no, man, he left. He's with the Dodgers. No, Freddie Freeman is legit. Even though I've never met the guy in person, he just strikes as one of the most absolute, genuine brothers in all of baseball, all of sports. And for him to make history like that last night, that was it couldn't have happened. Honestly, it couldn't have happened to a better guy. Because as a matter of fact, I just saw this. I saw like one of my mutuals on Twitter. He's a Braves fan as well, and he had said, if Freddie Freeman wins this World Series, he's going to go into he'll have 2 championships with the MVP. He's going to go to Hall of Fame as a Dodger. I said, no, sir, Bob. He's not. I don't care what he does in L.A. I don't care what he does in L.A. He's going in the Hall of Fame as an Atlanta Brave. Point blank, period. I don't care what he does in L.A. I really don't. I mean, all the numbers he put up in Atlanta. He won the MVP. He helped win the championship there. And L.A. just homered. Okay. Yeah. I'm watching the game right now too. Yeah, it's 3-1 LA, I think now. What? 2-1, 3-1,
3-1.
3-1 LA. But going back to Freddie, like I said, it couldn't happen to a better guy. I'm so happy for him. Like a lot of times, players get those big last contracts, and they kind of fade. And I was kind of hoping to God that he would still kind of maintain his status as a really, really good ball player, arguably best first baseman in baseball. I think he still is. I think he still is the best first baseman in baseball. But I mean, that's just how I feel about it. But he has just come to LA, and he's just, quite frankly, he hasn't skipped a beat as far as how damn elite he is as a baseball player. Still, he hasn't skipped a beat, and I'm happy for him. I mean, to get a walk-off grand slam at that. First time it's ever happened in the World Series. I mean, it couldn't have happened to a better dude. And I know I did pick the Yankees to do this in 6, but if I'm rooting for anybody personally, I'm rooting for Freddie Freeman. I would not mind seeing him get this done and win another championship to kind of cement his legacy as a potential future Hall of Famer. But I still think he's going as a Brave. Just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I'm happy for him, and if there's any one guy I want to see get this more than anything, is him. Because that man is as good a dude as there is in baseball. So I'm happy to make history like that. I'm happy for him. I'm extremely happy for him.
My main man with the Yankees hat on. What you think, man?
I just want to point out that I'm not wearing this in support of the Yankees. I did this just to troll Champ when I turned on the camera. Anywho, I don't. There are some guys that go get that last contract and go to the Yankees or Dodgers or whatever, or go get that. Oh man! Speaking of the boy, he just hit another one.
He hit another one?
You're ahead of me, Flag. Going.
Yeah, New York might get swept. I'm okay with that. And if that happens, nobody will be more happier than me. I can't stand the Yankees.
Nope.
I can't stand the Yankees.
And there's certain guys that like is just one that hits home that comes to mind when Aaron Jones left for the Minnesota Vikings. Like, he came back to Lambeau recently, and there wasn't a boo in the whole building. There are certain guys that, you know, when they leave, there's no, you were such a beloved person, you know, in with the fans, that you don't get that vitriol for going to, you know, taking that contract from the Yankees, or going to, you know, back in the day, going to the Patriots or whatever it may be, you know, or the Cowboys, or, you know, and Freddie, from everything that I read, didn't really want to leave.
He didn't.
He didn't really want to. So I think I remember watching an interview with him, and like, he was in tears about it. So, you know, I think it's cool. I mean, he just hit another home run. You know, if, you know, he's obviously the front runner for MVP right now. Like, I think it would be kind of cool for him to win MVP, as much as I don't really like the Dodgers either. Even though I gotta pat myself on the back and say that this is the World Series that I predicted, because I just smelled it coming. But yeah, if anybody's gonna win an MVP on any of these teams, I'm okay with Freddie Freeman winning it. That's that, and then I definitely applaud that, and I'd be okay with it.
Hey man, look, go Dodgers. Like I said, I will never ever cheer for the Yankees. Never.
No.
So I would look. And there's a reason. Look, New York, you cost me 4 World Series in the 90s. I will never forgive you for that. So I will never forgive you for that. No. I am supposed to have 5 World Series rings, and Atlanta is supposed to be title time. So no, I will never cheer for the Yankees ever. No. So you will not see it. Look, as much as I listen to Jay-Z, if you look at a lot of my pictures, you never see me in Yankee caps on. I always got my red and black on, man. So, man, look, hey, go Dodgers, Freddie Freeman. I hope you win that ring. And look, I gotta say this, man. Look, hey, when you talk about Mr. October, look no further than Freddie Freeman. You want to Mr. October, that's your guy, because he came through. Look how clutch he's being right now. Look how clutch he was back when we won our first World Series since 1995. The guy's clutch in crunch time in the World Series. So when it comes to Mr. October, hey,
and somebody needs to tell these managers to quit thinking that just because they have a left-handed pitcher against Freddie Freeman, it's an automatic out. He's hitting like 600 against lefties with runners in scoring, with runners on base. I mean, good God.
Yeah, nasty work. But look, we all covered the World Series, man. One of the most popular sports in America's pastime, man. Freddie Freeman, Mr. October. But look, y'all know what day it is, man. You know what day it is. And you know Saturday from September to February, before Valentine's Day, ironically, it's all about that pig skin, man. All about that pig skin. So, hey, man, what was y'all thought on college football today, man? And I got to ask y'all this, man. Who's winning that Heisman? Whoever want to go first, because I see I put that wasn't even a pipe bomb, bro.
Well, right now, I would say the front runner would probably be Cam Ward.
Yeah.
As much as I am in the Travis Hunter camp, and that was my prediction at the beginning of the year, was Travis Hunter. I think it's Cam Ward. Like, one of our biggest questions in when our college football preview show was, you know, everybody's been saying for years, is Miami, is the U back? Is the U finally back? And right now, like, as long as Cam keeps playing and keeping them afloat like this, it's hard to argue against him right now.
Yeah. One person I don't think is getting a lot of mentions, and ironically, their number one in the nation is Dillon Gabriel. he has just as many touchdowns as Shedeur Sanders and just as many yards. As of today, he has 18 touchdowns. He's thrown for over 2,200 yards as of today. So I'm surprised that Dillon Gabriel, especially with him having the campaign that he did last year in Oklahoma, now coming to Oregon, I'm surprised he's not being mentioned in Heisman candidates. But I digress on that. Look, in my humble opinion, Ashton Jeanty, look, he on pace to run for over 3,000 yards right now. He's on pace to break Barry Sanders' record as of right now. And I know this is a quarterback-driven league. This is a quarterback. Everybody wants to see the quarterback, but if he breaks Barry Sanders' record, he has to win the Heisman. He has to, especially if he ends up in the college football playoffs. So, and speaking of the college football playoffs, I think this is the best time for us to see these Heisman Showcase guys who can literally say, I was snubbed by entering the college football playoffs and basically showing out, saying, hey, this is why I should have been picked. And if there was any time in college football, it's now. And what I'm enjoying about college football is we're seeing so much parity. People who keep saying, oh, yeah, college football is not what it used to be. Close your mouth, sit on down, sit in a rocking chair, and leave that old school stuff behind. Because the thing is, when you are seeing a team like the Indiana Hoosiers, who has been traditionally a basketball school, was a basketball school. When you think about Indiana, you think about four things. You think about the Indy 500, you think about the Indiana Pacers, you think about the Indiana Hoosiers, and right now, as of right now, Caitlin Clark. That's what you think about. But for them to bring prominence to that program that has traditionally been a basketball program, because Indiana's a basketball school, make no mistake. May not be what it was, but if you hear about Indiana, when you think about the Hoosiers, they think about basketball. But when you see a basketball school going undefeated and just beating the competition and could potentially win the Big Ten, that's what people are not talking about. They could potentially win the Big Ten. So to see that type of parity, to just come out of nowhere and go 8-0 for the first time since 1967, when they made their last Rose Bowl appearance, that just goes to show you how far college football has come and how much parity that we're seeing there at this point in time. And quite frankly, I'm enjoying it.
I mean, what did I say? For the last couple of weeks, I've been saying it, that the NIL and basically free agency is going to cause a lot of parity. We're not going to see the typical. I mean, don't be wrong. Alabama and Georgia are still going to be, for the most part, them. But as we can see this year, Alabama can go in and beat Georgia, but then they go and lose, to what should be winnable games, and now we're so and it's week to week. Georgia to Texas, it just looks, it's not going to be the same college football that we've all grown to love. It's a completely different atmosphere, completely different game. You're going to see teams like Indiana. You're going to see teams like Iowa State, SMU. We've always made that joke, the SMU joke, that now it's just legal, so they're going to ham at it. They're 22nd in the country right now, so this is something that we're going to see going forward. Now, I'm not on the board of this is a good thing yet, just because I know we brought up we had a topic about whether or not the NIL is good for college football in general.
Yeah,
and how the super conferences have kind of ruined tradition in some ways. So I'm not all the way on board yet. I'm okay with it. I like the parity. It's going to make it. It's going to make the playoffs way more interesting.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I think that's, and now we're going to see like a broader playoff bracket. And I think with these small schools or smaller schools actually competing like Vanderbilt, you know, it's going to make the playoffs a lot more interesting and a lot more entertaining. So I think what it's doing is keeping the regular season of college football where it still matters.
Mm-hmm.
And now the playoffs are going to be, because one and done. So it's just going to, I mean, it's always been kind of like that. But now we have a playoff and an expanded one, and it's going to be really, because it's not going to be a guarantee like, oh, Georgia and Alabama are just going to steamroll to it and we're over and done with. It's like, okay, you know, they're going to go against Iowa State, and it's going to be a football game.
Yeah.
So,
hey, one thing that I love before you go BRF, one thing that I'm loving right now is you get to see this conference on conference thing, and I can't wait to see the conference wars. I can't wait to see the SEC versus the Big Ten, the SEC versus, you know, the Big 12. I can't wait to see these, you know, conference games where, you know, we won the college football playoff. We won the most games. I can't wait to see that. One thing I don't like, because they're talking about it next year, and, you know, BRF, I don't like the potential, and I'm an SEC guy, by the way. I'm an SEC guy. I don't like the potential of teams getting automatic bids just because you're in the SEC or a big, huge conference. Take the 12 best teams,
yep,
put them in the playoff, and let them have at it. You should not be because you should not be experiencing any type of bias in any conference. If you don't have the team, then guess what? And they don't line you up properly, hey, you just lost out. I don't think these teams should be getting automatic bids as of next year. But as far as the playoffs is concerned, I'm loving it. And the road there for the first time ever is just flat out amazing. And here's an idea, man, while we're in the middle of the show. We need to take the greatest college football teams of all time, put them in this 12-team playoff and give our opinion on it one of these good old days before college football ends, man. I think that'll be a wonderful idea. I think the audience will love that, man. But BRF, what says you about college football right about now, and who's winning the Heisman in your humble opinion, brother?
Well, college football honestly is in a really good place right now. I think NIL or no NIL, I think the 12-team playoff definitely brings that drama back to college football that it needs, because it was always like, well, who's going to win between, you know, such and such, like Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, or, you know, who's going to get there. And it kind of lost a little luster because it's kind of like you kind of had an idea who's going to be contending and who's going to be there. And the 12-team playoff kind of brings some drama back, because now you're not just looking at the top 4 teams, you know, the teams that are going to get buys. You're kind of focusing on like who's going to get in, who's going to get the 9th through 12th seeds to get into the playoffs. We're actually looking at that now. We're actually analyzing for more than just the top 4 teams in the country. We're looking at the top, arguably, we're looking at that. We'll just say the top 20 teams in college football. You're looking at it and you're just like, okay, who's going to lose here? Who's going to jump up here? Who's going to skip here? Who's going to make a run? And it's kind of like college football needs this kind of drama for the regular season in terms of going into their postseason. They need this, and I think it's a really good thing. And I think it would have done it regardless of the NIL. I think the main thing with the NIL is you're going to see like big time players not necessarily go to your favorite school, especially if, you know, another school just comes out of nowhere and say, hey, I'm going to throw this at you if you come here. If it's more than what that other school is throwing at them, they might be like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to just go here. Because I mean, some of these players are building a brand anyway, but then at the same time, you know, it's like, you know, some of them kind of like, I want to show, hey, I can go here, still make a name for myself and go pro regardless of where I go. Some players feel like they're that good. So I do like the NIL from that standpoint. And Champ, you know, you kind of know how I feel about the NCAA anyway, as far as like how corrupt it's been anyway. I mean, I know there are going to be players that are going to take advantage of the NIL. Don't get me wrong, as far as like backing out, always, transferring because they were promised this amount of dollars and they didn't get it. So they're going to transfer and try to get it. So I know they're going to be those players that are going to take advantage of it. But from the standpoint of the NCAA being one of the most corrupt organizations in all of sports, I don't feel sorry for them to a degree because they made tons and tons of money off these players' backs. And then a lot of these players couldn't even get a job at one point, and they could lose scholarships. I mean, it was bad at one point. So I don't, from that standpoint, I don't feel sorry for the NCAA at all. I don't, from that standpoint. But I am enjoying all this, and I'm really excited to see who's going to round this field out when we get into conference championship play and when we're deciding like the bids and all this stuff. I'm excited to see who's going to round out and make the 12. Now, as far as my Heisman, it's Ashton Jeanty. It's Ashton Jeanty, and the reason why I say it's Ashton Jeanty, I think he's going to win the Heisman. I feel because the description for the Heisman Trophy is supposed to be most outstanding player of college football, and they still have treated the Heisman Trophy like a career achievement award or a quarterback award. If it's most outstanding player in college football, right now for me is Ashton Jeanty because today he had another 127 yards and scored the game-winning touchdown. Boise State got another win. So I mean, and it's not just like he's putting up these ridiculous stats on like a team that's like kind of that's like skating above 500. Boise State was ranked 17th coming into the day, and they got another win. So I think I think after the day is like 1,375 yards already, and like 18 touchdowns. Like just the numbers he's putting up is just is astronomical. Like the yards per carry are insane. And it's like you see him set up in the backfield. I mean, it's not like a traditional setup. I mean, he's like literally just standing up. Like he's not like he ain't got like the traditional hands on the knees, like looking, the traditional running back stands on. He's just standing up. And then he gets the ball, and next thing you know, he's like that one particular play today, he goes through like 5 people and barely misses the end zone. So it's just like I think like if I had to choose right now which 4 are gonna get the invites to New York, if I had to pick 4, it's probably Ashton Jeanty, Dillon Gabriel, Travis Hunter, Cam Ward. Those would be my 4 right now. If you're sending to New York, those would be my 4. Those would be my 4. And I know some people would say Shedeur Sanders, but I'm looking at Dillon Gabriel from the standpoint he's on the number 1 team in the country right now, and he's putting up similar numbers. So I think that gives him an edge. It gives him an edge. So if I had to pick, no, go ahead, Flash. No, you go ahead.
No. Finish your point. Go ahead.
Oh no, but I was just saying like if I just had like I think Ashton Jeanty would be my pick to win it, but my 4 to go to New York would be him, Dillon Gabriel, Travis Hunter, Cam Ward. That would be my 4 to go, but I would pick Ashton Jeanty just because I just feel like he's been the most outstanding player in college. I just feel like he's been the most outstanding player in college football. That's just how I feel. I would probably go like right now. He's 1. I would probably go Cam Ward 2. Probably Dillon Gabriel 3, Travis Hunter 4.
Yeah.
That's probably how I feel about. That's probably how I'd go with it.
Yeah. I believe it's gonna. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think if Jeanty comes close to or breaks Barry's record, and honestly, I hold on a second. I don't think it's Barry's record anymore. Didn't Ron Dane beat that record years ago?
No, the single season record.
The single season yardage record. No, I think it's still Bears.
It's still Bears.
Oh, am I thinking total career?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Total career, Ron Dane.
What?
Total career is Ron Dane.
Yeah. Okay. I do. If he comes close to Barry Sanders' single season, I think at this point it would be the 2 front runners are him and Cam. because to take a point that you made, Champ, I think a week or two ago, that Cam Ward is having essentially like a Cam Newton type-esque season, where it's basically him against everybody. And so it's going to be a real tough call at the end of the year if these players both kind of keep doing what they're doing. Like Ward's got 24 touchdowns on the year, and like he's got 2,400 yards passing, I think, or something like that. Like, so he's just balling. And as much as I would love Travis Hunter that was my pick, and I still think it's there. The fact that Boise State and Miami and the dude from Oregon, they're all ranked, and Colorado currently is not. So that is going to hurt Travis Hunter going forward, even though he's not the quarterback. So, and I just think those guys, I think especially Cam Ward and Genty are having they're having historical seasons. Not that Travis Hunter isn't. It's just like they're having otherworldly historical seasons.
Yes. I agree 100%, man. And like I said, and I believe it's all going to come down to how much that they win at the end of the day. As far as Colorado Buffs are concerned, because the whole damn nation, it feels like, against them at a certain point. But now you're winning. I mean, you only got to win one more game and you're bowl eligible. So the only thing you got to do is win at this point. So I have to say, Colorado winning the Big 12 would make a difference. Yes, I think it would. But, I mean, it's possible, but it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be very, very interesting to see because a lot of the teams that are in the Big 12 right now have been kind of disappointing. It's like when you think about Oklahoma State, coming into this season, Ollie Gordon III, OG3 was supposed to be this Heisman candidate, and he's supposed to be running all over the place. Then after that whole incident that he got into with the liquor incident, then, it was just been on downhill. I think he's had maybe one 100-yard game this year. So, a lot of these teams are kind of disappointing in the Big 12 at this point. So, I mean, them winning the Big 12 is possible. So, I mean, it's just that offensive line, which has done a good job after the Nebraska game. They did a hell of a job after the Nebraska game. They've done a good job protecting Sedor. So they keep doing that. They can definitely win some games.
Does Genty and Boise State being in the Mountain West hurt him?
Not as much. I don't think it does as much as it used to.
No, because I
don't think it does as much as it used to. If this was like 5-6 years ago, I'd be like, oh yeah. Him being in the Mountain West will hurt because there was still this competition argument. But I don't think it matters nowhere near as much as it used to. I don't think it hurts him as much.
Yeah, and his best game was against the number one team in the nation.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was just seeing. I was just curious to see if that was going to be like, let's say it comes down to him and Cam keeps going at the rate he's going, and Genty keeps going at the rate he's going. Is that the point that kind of knocks it down for Genty, and maybe they give it to Ward?
I think it depends on how much. I think it depends on the stats and where he ends up. What you say, Champ?
I'm just going to be real honest with you. Every time, I give credit where credit is due all the time. But like I said, his best game has been against ranked teams.
Yeah.
When you talk about Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
I like Cam Ward. University of Miami, it's good to see them back. They're a powerhouse. But it seems like all these unranked teams, they've been in dogfights with every last one of them. It seems like, it just seems like Cam Ward, and this is no knock for him, it's just like he's going up against a lot of these mediocre teams, and
it's a dogfight.
It's just a dogfight.
Yeah.
Whereas Ashton Genty, he's going out against ranked teams and running through them like a hot knife through butter, or even worse, Taco Bell on Saturday night after a drunk night. So that's how I would rank it. You came out here and beat UNLV, had your best game. Although you lost against Oregon, you had one of your best games against a now number one team in the nation.
And
you're going up against,
and it was a close game too. It was 37-34.
you're going up against ranked teams and really having your best game. With these unranked teams, it's pretty much a dogfight with Miami, and you holding on to your seats. And one could argue, hell, if it wasn't for them, that controversy behind that Virginia Tech game, would they have lost their swagger and started losing? Because that was a very, very controversial call, man. Very controversial. So
all right. So then I guess I'm going to piggyback off of that. Is he the number one pick next year?
No. Who, Cam Ward?
No. Genty.
No.
The Cowboys need to draft him, though. Cowboys definitely need to draft him because they need.
He's from Dallas, ain't he?
And I think he's from Dallas. That would be
he's
a marriage.
From Dallas.
Yeah, he's from Dallas. So I mean, that would be a marriage made in heaven right there. Him and Dak Prescott. So I mean, they need a running game.
He would be a top 5 pick, though, correct?
I think he'll be a top 5 pick because of the records that he making. Plus, people don't want to acknowledge this. The running game is making a comeback at this point.
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
It has made a comeback in all of these running backs. Now, the only thing that's saving these teams from having to pay these guys top dollar is they got 2 of them. That's the only thing that's saving them from having to pay them top dollar. So they say, okay, we ain't gonna pay you top dollar, but you know what? Because we got 2 of y'all. But I really think Ashton Jennings, I think that Jerry Jones needs to really look into that because it's a marriage made in heaven. He's from Dallas. And guess what? You need a running game. And he's physical. He's not like one of these finesse backs that are just shying away from contact. He's coming out there and really bringing the thunder. And he's pretty big. He's not one of these small guys that is going to crack on the pressure.
He's 215. That's not small.
That's not small.
If I had to make a comp for Ashton Jennings, he's a better between the tackles runner, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but he's Bijan, but he's a little bit better running between the tackles.
Yeah, you got to get Bijan in space.
Bijan to me is like a Reggie Bush comparison. That's what Bijan is to me. He's like kind of
but he's a way better in between the tackles running than Reggie Bush.
And then so now you take that and then you kind of elevate it a little bit more, and Genty's a little bit better between the tackles than Bijan is.
If you really want me to be honest, outside of OJ, God rest his soul, and Marcus Allen, them USC backs don't impress me. So that's just me though.
No, NFL wise, Reggie Bush wasn't what he like. My vision of what Reggie Bush was supposed to be when he got to the NFL was basically Marshall Faulk 2.0. He should have been able to be like a lot of people don't know, like when Marshall Faulk was playing, like that dude could have been a Pro Bowl wide receiver. Like he was that good when he would line up at wide receiver or in the slot. And I thought Reggie Bush, that's what he was going to be at some point. And he just never.
He didn't gain enough weight in order to run between the tackles.
I don't know if it was that. I don't know what it was. I don't know if he just wasn't used right, or it was he couldn't run between the tackles, or he was in New Orleans. So didn't they have like Deuce McAllister?
They had Deuce McAllister there too
at the same time. So it's like, imagine if he goes to, a different team where he's allowed to, he's the primary back. And I'm trying to think of a team that, when he was drafted in 05, imagine if he goes to, I don't know, my brain's trying to think back. What?
San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco or some team like like it just like then what happens with his career? What if he goes
he did almost have 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons when they was giving him the ball in Miami and Detroit. So I mean, he had 1,000 yards in 2011. He had 900 in 2000. He had 900 in 2012. and he had another 1,000 in 2013. So if they was giving him the ball and feeding him, then I think he would have did a lot better.
Like, can you imagine him in like today's Miami offense with Mike Daniels?
Yeah, I think he would have been good. Oh yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Red Light Holmes is right. Shout out to
Philly, Tennessee.
Yeah,
I was thinking. You know what? I was actually thinking about Philly too with him.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said Philly. Like you put him in that Andy Reid type offense, like they
Brian
had
Westbrook,
Brian Westbrook and all that. You put him in that type of offense, yeah, absolutely. You put him in Baltimore with that Jonathan Ogden offensive line they had in Baltimore. Now their quarterback play was kind of ass, but they have Baltimore just with the line. Green Bay was another. Well, that's mid. That's like the Mike Sherman years. That's in there. That's before McCarthy got there. Yeah,
he had Ahman Green then, I think.
Yeah, Ahman Green.
Yeah. So I just think if he went to a better team, as much as they had Sean Payton, like they just didn't have. I don't know. It's one of those questions I've always wondered. Like, man, if he goes to a different team, what happens?
Yeah. Hey, that's a quick thought. That's a good thought to have, especially consider how electrifying that he was in college. I mean, he was one of the most electrifying players in college history. Next to Michael Vick, I would say. But let's move out of college sports and move to pro, and we're going to start with the NBA. What was you guys' thoughts on NBA opening weekend thus far? What has been y'all's thought thus far?
I've enjoyed it so far. I've definitely enjoyed it so far. Boston Celtics are just showing why they are just the clear-cut best team in NBA. I mean, they're my pick. Honestly, I'll just say it. They're my pick to repeat. I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm picking them to repeat. I just feel like they have the least weakness. They have the fewest amount of weaknesses in terms of all the NBA teams. I mean, they're obviously showing that they can. I mean, good gosh, what they did to the Knicks. I mean, almost setting the 3-point record on them. But unfortunately enough, they missed that last 13 3-point attempts to not get the record, which I thought was crazy. But I don't know what Jason Tatum did in the offseason with that jump shot, but that jump shot looking clean for Jason Tatum. That jump shot looking a lot cleaner than it did last year or like previous in his career. Definitely enjoying what I'm seeing out of the Boston Celtics so far. I mean, and just you kind of hate it for the Knicks that game. That opening game, Boston getting the 18th banner raised, getting the ring. Nobody's beating Boston that night, so just it is what it is. It's time. I'm finna be a homer. I'm finna be a homer for all y'all people that just want to knock Trae Young. Look at what he's done in his first 2 games. This man is averaging 34, 7 rebounds, 11 assists his first 2 games, and albeit early, it's 2-0. So I got to give him some love because everybody was kind of giving him a lot of flack because he couldn't make the DeJounte Murray combination work. But I mean, it's two basically ball dominant point guards. At the end of the day, you hated that it didn't work, but are you surprised it didn't work? Not really. You're not really surprised it didn't work. A lot of other things I'm liking so far. Got to give a shout out to the Lakers. Got to give a shout out to the Lakers. Got to give a shout out to the Lakers. And particularly got to give a shout out to Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
I've been saying he's the best player on that team. He's the best player on that. Well, Jonathan, I'm sorry, man. The Celtics are the best team in NBA. What you want me to do?
Hey,
they're the best team.
Mr. Watson in the Sports for You podcast. You know, they Lakers fans just like I am. So,
I mean, what do you want me to do, man? They're the best team in NBA. There's no getting around it. But I gotta give a shout out to the Lakers and particularly Anthony Davis. He should be the guy they're running that offense through for the most part. He's the best player on that team. I get they still have LeBron there, but they need to kind of move LeBron a little more, let him be more off ball, run this offense through Anthony Davis because when he's on his game, he's definitely a top 10 player in the league, arguably a top 5 player in the league when he's on his game. When you consider his offense, how he can score from all levels, his defense is like he's a top 5 defender in the league. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. Particularly like his rim protecting. The man can guard on the perimeter when you ask him to. I mean, Anthony Davis just does everything. There's nothing the man can't do. And he played 78 games last year, which is like a career high for him. So if he can stay healthy, I know I had said I didn't think the Lakers were no more than the playoff team because I mean I didn't trust the roster. But I mean, JJ Redick got them boys cooking out there in LA, man. So I can't knock it right now. They look good, beating 2 quality teams like Minnesota and Phoenix. They got another one tonight against Sacramento, who obviously they should be favored to beat them too. So I mean, they got to start off 3-0. They can get off to a good start after this. But I think those are probably like some of my those are probably like my biggest takeaways so far is the domination of Boston, the hopefully reawakening of Trae Young, and what the LA Lakers are doing. Those are probably my biggest takeaways so far.
I gotta ask you this question. Is Tyrese Halliburton, is he the second best point guard in the state of Indiana right now? I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
I feel this is how I look. I think Tyrese Halliburton is a really good player. Don't get it twisted. I think it's a good player. But when it's like me being a Trae Young guy. Whenever like a point guard, like he had like that one ridiculous like month or two where he was just putting up these ungodly numbers, and then they immediately knocked Trae Young down, and I'm just like, y'all, Tyrese is good, but he's not better than Trae. He's not better than Trae.
Yeah.
So, I mean, second best point guard in Indiana right now. I mean, he ain't been looking too hot as of late. When you take into account the second half of last year and then the playoffs, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, Tyrese ain't been looking that hot. And I mean, Caitlin Clark, I mean, say what you will, man. When she came back from that Olympic break, boy, them numbers skyrocketed. So I mean, it's not a ridiculous thing to say he's the second best point guard in the state of Indiana right now. It's not a ridiculous thing to say. I mean, I don't know, man. I think he's gonna get it together to some degree because I do still think he's a really good player. But I mean,
he'll be fine.
He's gonna be he'll be fine. He's not like people were talking about like he's top 5 point guard in the NBA and all that stuff. I'm like, bro, slow your roll. He ain't that. He barely in consideration for top 10 point guard in the NBA. Slow down on that. He's a really good player who's gonna find himself, and he's gonna get it right. But let's slow down on elevating that man. Is all I'm saying.
Girl, Miss Dog, you ain't never seen a play like this. Look at my feet, but you
Sorry.
on your red double down, you know.
Sorry, my bad.
We can't be grooving in the middle of the podcast like this, Flash.
I'm trying it. Like my computer's acting sluggish, and I'm trying to delete some stuff. And I have a NBA 2K version on my computer, and it opened. And so the music started playing. I'm trying to like create more room because Anywho, yeah, my bad. NBA opening week. So, I don't think the question with Anthony Davis has ever been like, is he the best player on that team, or is he honestly a top 5 player in the NBA? It's can he stay healthy?
Mm-hmm.
That's been the only question mark. I mean, I've heard people argue that he's the best player in the league if he's healthy. Like there's no other players that can do what he can offensively and defensively. And that's kind of hard to argue against if he's healthy. The problem is that he's has always been that argument, and I know Champ kind of hates his argument. He doesn't have that dog in him a little bit, and and he can't stay healthy, and so and he's does he take that leadership role of being the best player on that team? Like you kind of have to. He has to make it his team. Do I think LA is going to? Are they a title contender? I mean, hey, if you got Anthony Davis and LeBron James on the team, you're always like in the discussion. But I think in a 7-game series right now, like we're only 2 games into the season. I know we're all going to overreact to everything right now. What we do. Do I think that they're a title contender? Not with that roster yet, but we'll see. I think the Bucks look great against Philly. Just call it the hometown team right here. They came out. They looked a little bit better, a little cleaner than they did last year. Incorporating Dame. I'll tell you what team I'm scared of. Dude, Klay Thompson in Dallas.
He looked motivated in game 1. That's all I'm going to say.
And I'm telling you, if they get 90% of what Klay used to be, that Dallas team is going to be real hard to deal with. Conference. So I really like that. That's going to be a real, not to mention like if he's really good this year, that's going to be a real like a real fun team to watch. The Halliburton thing, I just think he's that guy that everybody likes to crap on a little bit, and he's good. He's a good player. He's not. Is he the best point guard in the league? No. Is he probably second best point guard in Indiana? Probably, but he's a really good player. And I think Indiana will be fine. Yeah, I'm excited for NBA season. We're going to see. I think there's going to Wemby looked like we're going to have like the league's going to have some problems. So the Western Conference right now is looking really entertaining right now. Like the most entertaining conference. Whether it's the best conference, I don't know yet, but I know right now they're looking like the most entertaining.
Yeah. So that brings me to my next question, man. Too early NBA award prediction. Who's your MVP?
I think for me, for MVP, I think it's time. I think it's finally time for him to get one. I'm going to Dallas, and I'm picking Luka Doncic. I think he's finally going to get one this year. I think it's about that time because you still have Kyrie, and now you add Klay, and it looks like a motivated Klay at that. So that's just Klay Thompson is instant floor spacing for Luka to just be able to just do his thing. So yeah, my early MVP, I think it's time for Luka to get one.
Yeah, I that was my pick. I think it's going to be Luka. I think I'm just going to steal exactly what you said. The floor spacing that Klay gives them, not only just for Luka himself, but also for Klay, is going to be insane. It's just going to be. It's just too. I mean, you're going to have your typical contenders. You're going to have Jokic if Giannis stays healthy. And a motivated Giannis, a motivated, angry Giannis is a scary Giannis. If they've figured out that dynamic between him and Dame and how that offense works, and then have brought back the defense a little bit, Milwaukee's going to be a problem. In fact, I think that's the only team that can go against Boston in a 7-game series and give them some issues possibly. Yeah, but I think it's Luka. I think Luka is primed for it. The only one that I could see him, I think there could be a sneaky one, is if the thing that we just talked about, if Anthony Davis stays healthy and he takes over as the leader of that team, it's a possibility. But I think Luka's kind of set up and primed for it, just with the recent NBA Finals appearance and now the addition of Clay. I just think it's there. I don't think it's, as long as he stays healthy, God willing. That's my pick too.
I would say Anthony Davis. I want him to win one. It's a biased pick because I'm a Laker fan, but Anthony Davis, if that's any indication of what we're going to see all year, I want to see it all. So, yeah, DPOYN. DPOY, my bad.
I'm going Victor Wembanyama.
Not bad.
I mean, like this kid is like 7'4", and he put on 25 pounds of just pure muscle in the offseason. I mean, the dude look, he's basically Giannis with about 5 more inches of height, with a better jump shot and handles. Victor Wembanyama could turn into the most scariest player in the National Basketball Association. Once everything clicks, Victor Wembanyama is going to be the scariest player in this league. And the defense you saw it last year. There were people thought he should have won DPOY last year. I'm actually one that thought he should have won it last year. So I think I'm going Victor Wembanyama winning DPOY this year.
Is there any chance he's an MVP candidate?
San Antonio's got to make the playoff.
Depending on how well him and Chris Paul, if anybody can get him to a level where he can potentially win MVP, it's Chris Paul, especially if he's even a third of what he normally is. Because the thing is, we saw what Chris Paul could do when he was at OKC for that brief moment and how he elevated those rookies and those young players that were there. So the thing is, depending on how much Chris Paul is able to feed him, considering his age, I think he could potentially become one, but you still got to compete with a lot of guys like, Giannis. You still got to compete with Anthony Davis, just to name a few. So, yeah, I think that he has a lot of potential, to be honest with you, man. Sleeper MVP, but not really. SGA. I mean,
I like that as a sleeper pick.
I mean, he was an MVP candidate last year. I mean,
yeah, it was between him and Jokic. I don't think it's
between him and Jokic. So.
But my thing is, the reason why I feel like Giannis is going to have Giannis. I feel like we're picking Luka to be there. Giannis is going to be there. I think Champ saying AD, if AD stays healthy, he's going to be there. Jokic is going to be there. In my opinion, all those guys better than SGA, in my humble opinion. But yeah. SGA is like on superstar. Like this year could be his superstar. Like if he's not already a superstar, this could be his superstar year. I think SGA is that good. This could be his bona fide superstar type year. Like if it wasn't last year, it definitely can be this year. So I think sleeper, yeah. Like he's like, if you had like a list of like top 8, top 6 MVP candidates, he would definitely be in the top 6 in my opinion.
Now, you know what? We'll stop at DPOY for right now because you got to get into the season a little bit more to see 6th man of the year, most cuts player, and all of that. I will say that because we're not going to see that too early in the season. But if you would like something out there, then feel free.
I'm trying to think. I'm looking at if there's one award I do want to talk about now who I could see possibly getting it is most improved. And in fact, most improved. I don't know. I feel like Jalen Johnson should have got it last year, but that's me being biased. If we're looking at the true definition of most improved, I think Jalen Johnson should have got it last year. But I mean, that's kind of me being a homer and me being a little biased right there. It's crazy to say, but depending on his growth, I'm going to sound a little repetitive, but Wembanyama could get that too, depending on his growth. He seriously could get that too, depending on the growth he makes from year 1 to year 2. Like I'm sorry, I'm high on him this year. I think he's gonna be so good this year. I am really high on him.
Okay, Flash.
I mean, you got your typical. I think Wemby's going to be the talk of the town all year, as long as he's healthy. We're going to be seeing something really special. You got your candidates, Tyrese Maxey. Does he take that that next step?
Yeah. I think he won it last year. I think.
Did he?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he did.
Did he win it last year?
Yeah, I think he did.
Okay.
I think with MIP, you're looking at guys like you're looking at Wemby taking a high step. Yeah, Scotty Barnes. You're looking at like a Chet Holmgren. You're looking at
Jalen Williams. Yeah,
Jalen Williams. Yeah.
I know he's turned into a meme at this point, but Josh Giddey, he's another one that's a candidate as well. He is a candidate, like I said, but he's turned into a meme, unfortunately.
I got a dark horse. I got a dark horse for that, and I'm gonna pull one out the hat. Sacramento, watch out for Keegan Murray this year. Okay. Watch out for Keegan Murray this year. I think he's got a shot to do something this year.
Mm-hmm. That's good. All right. You got anything else, Flash?
No.
All right. So let's move into this next one, man. We all know what the talk of the NBA was this past week, man. For all of the opening nights and everything of that nature. The real talk of the town was Bron and Bronny, the first father and son sharing the stage for the first time ever in the NBA. And couldn't have happened at a better place than on opening night in Los Angeles. Couldn't have happened at a better place than Los Angeles at a certain point. I think Josh Hart can definitely be most improved. But it couldn't have happened at a better place than Los Angeles as they were celebrating the life of Jerry West. They gave away Jerry West jerseys. Ken Griffey Jr. and his father was there in order to share the moment with Bronny and Bronny James. Bron and Bronny James. I think that was a good moment. But I think that was a great moment, man. I think that, hey, I'll say this, and it's not very controversial. I think that people always put emphasis on, Mother's Day, mother. It's good to see the fathers get credit. It is good to see the father with the son. It's good to see that. I think it's hellified to see that. To see father and son, and people can argue nepotism, people can argue this and this and that. This damn world was built on nepotism. Just gonna be real. Not to mention they were smart enough to say, hey, after this road trip, you go into the G League. And he was a second round pick. You're not really expecting too much from a second round pick at this point in time, especially this early. And one can argue, had he not had that illness, he would have been a lot better in college. We've seen worse players come out of college. So to see that, to see Bron and Bronny share the stage together, not to mention share the court together, that was something special. Like I said, we always hear about the moms getting a lot of credit. You know, everybody wants to buy mom a house. Everybody wants to point to their mom in the stands. But to see father and son, shout out to my father, to see father and son on the court at the same time. And the thing is, we don't know what Bron is going to end up being. He could very well be a premier all-star. We don't know that as of yet. He still has to develop. A lot of these young men coming to the NBA, let's just face it, a lot of these guys in the NBA, they come in undeveloped and unprepared. And we wait for 3 to 4, we wait 4 or 5 years for them to develop. And then they have one breakout year, and all of a sudden, okay, this is the year. So give this young man some time to develop at this point, man. But I think, just for me, man, you know, seeing father and son on the court at the same time, LeBron being as great as he is, we really don't know how great Bronny's going to be. But to see father and son, I think that was excellent, man. And like I said, we can make the nepotism argument all you want to. But the thing is, hey, we've seen, I think we should give credit when we see fathers on the stage with their sons. I think, hey, you know, we all want to buy mom a house, but guess what? Hey, man, while mom was doing a lot of other things with us, dad was the one out there, you know, giving us that tough love in order for us to keep pushing, in order for us to have that dog in us, as, you know, Flash would say. So for him to get credit, much like LeVar Ball, much like Archie Manning, you know, the big Archie Manning, you know, like Deion Sanders, to see fathers get their just due is nothing short of amazing for me. And I love seeing it, man. And I share the stage with two fathers. I love to see you guys get y'all just do. And I just got to put it out there. If it wasn't for my father, I wouldn't be on this podcast right now because I wasn't a fan of social media. You know, he pushed me towards social media in order to say, hey, all this knowledge you got, you don't need to just be going to talking about sports in the hat store, because that's what I used to do. I used to go to the hat store where my friends used to work and talk about sports all day. And so, yeah. So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. So to see fathers get their just due and they're side by side with their son, who you don't know how great they're going to be, is amazing. But what says you guys?
I don't watch a lot of ESPN at all, so I don't get overloaded with, you know, Lakers content and the LeBron thing. You know, I go on Bleacher Report a lot. It's on there. You know, they push it too. But let's all be honest. If we were all dads and we had a shot, and we were LeBron James and we had a shot to play basketball in the NBA with your son, nepotism or whatever the reason is, you know, we all would do it. We would all attempt to try it.
Yeah,
so
we would.
I think I think it is cool to see that in a way, and seeing Ken Griffey Jr. and his dad there, you know, that was really cool. Especially like that. That's my favorite player ever in baseball is Ken Griffey Jr. And Champ's right to a certain extent. Dads don't get the credit, you know, that they deserve. I mean, don't get me wrong, dads that aren't around have kind of ruined it for the ones that are around. But you know, I'm not going to hate on it because, you know, if I had a shot to do something like that with my daughter, in a heartbeat, absolutely, not even close. Wouldn't even be a question. I wouldn't even care about all the hate. You can hate me all you want, but whatever. I think it's awesome. I think it's great to see. And I'm rooting for the kid. I want him to be good. I don't want him to be bad because honestly, and I think I said this in a prior show, I wouldn't want to be in that kid's shoes. That's some pressure. So not only are you the son of, you know, a top 5 greatest basketball player of all time, you are now in the NBA, and everybody's saying the only reason you're in the NBA is because of your dad. So not only do you have to follow up of like, are you good enough? Like, the expectations of being LeBron's son. Now you have to overcome the odds of people saying you don't even deserve to be in the league. So I look, the kid's handling it so far real well. He stays humble. He just keeps working on it. So I'm rooting for the kid, even though it's the Lakers and I can't stand the Lakers. Like, I hope the kid does well.
BRL.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool to see. I thought it was a cool thing to see. Because I mean, 2-3 years ago when they started talking about this and the realization that this could happen, and now we get it on our TV screens. It was a cool moment to see. Because I mean, we kind of figured, they'll get this out of the way. They'll get a little game floor experience in the big leagues, and then ultimately they'll send him to the G League, and he'll start his development. And he's probably going to go between the G League and the main roster this year. He's going to go in between. But I thought it was cool to see. Like I read social media and I read Twitter, and I see all these people just bad mouthing him, talking about like, man, you're not even good to be in the NBA. It's like you're taking an opportunity away from another player. And And I'm thinking to myself, he was picked 55th. We got to think about this. He was picked 55th. Who in reality was he truly taking a spot from at 55? Y'all were really expecting something from is 55. It'd be one thing if it was like a top 10 overall pick, but he was picked 55th. Let's calm down a little bit. Flash was talking about the Ken Griffey Jr. and his dad being there for the moment. For me, I think that's what kind of set it off too, because I mean, you have the two father-son duos who've played together now in professional sports, and I mean that was a good way to honor that. That was a good way to honor that because Ken Griffey Jr. he's in my top as far as my favorite players. He's in my top 3. He's in my top 3. I'll say, like, as far as baseball, for me, top 3 favorites to watch are all time is probably him, Barry Bonds, and from a pitching standpoint, as much as I love Maddox, from a pitching standpoint, my favorite pitcher to watch is Pedro. But I was happy for Bronny too, because it's particularly like the trials and tribulation that he went through, like with the heart stuff and all that, and not knowing if he was going to be able to kind of keep playing basketball. And it's like people are sitting there trying to dog him, talking about, well, he ain't good enough. Y'all got to think about what he's gone through to get to this point. Let that man feel like he's gotten a little bit of, redemption for this. Let him feel good about himself. We know he's going to go to the G League. We know he's going to go to develop. At least let him have his moment playing with his dad. Like, let him have this. He's going through love. The kid almost died. Cardiac arrest, man. He almost died. And to get an opportunity, to get this once in a lifetime opportunity like this, to share an NBA floor with your father, who in my opinion is the second greatest player ever. So if you got him first, I'm not gonna knock you. I have him second. How do you not give him that at least? You want to talk about him when he go to the G League? Fine. Talk about him when he get to the G League. But let him have this. Let him have this. Because for all intents and purposes, after a cardiac arrest, he shouldn't be here. So let him have it. If nothing else, let him have this. Because I want him to be a good player. Mm-hmm. Because from what I've seen from Bronny, he's got to work on his jump shot. He's got to work on like a lot of the offensive things that's going to make him a better player. But from what I've seen on the defense, he's already a pretty good defender. Yeah. From what I've seen on the defensive side of the ball, he's already a good defender. He just needs to take that, go to the G League, and kind of hone his craft. Just develop it to the best possible player he can be. But let him have this. People need to. I've never seen a guy drafted 55th overall, get this much heat, and it's only because he's LeBron James' son. And Champ, you said it right, and you hit the nail on the head too. There have been a lot worse cases of nepotism than this. Why are we getting on this for being nepotism? But yet, folks don't want to keep the same energy for all the examples of nepotism that we have seen in sports. But yet, y'all want to keep this energy for LeBron and Bronny, but not for other instances that we've seen in the past. Come on. Let's be real about it. So I say let Bronny have his moment. Now he can focus on being the best player he can be by going to the G League and developing his game. But let him have this. I mean, he's like I said, he's been through too much. Let him have this as some sort of salvation, redemption. This has got to be his greatest accomplishment ever, to get to play with his dad. Some of y'all need to let him have it, and y'all need to quit with all this bad mouthing just because of his name. Just I don't know. It's played out to me.
Yeah. Like I said, man, shout out to all the fathers out there, man. I share the stage with two great fathers, man, in BRF and Flash, man. Shout out to you guys. And shout out to my father, man. I remember, man, he used to get on to me about going to the hat store where my friends used to work. You know, shout out to Liz at Peachtree Mall, because we used to literally sit there while our friends was on the shift and literally sit there and talk about basketball or football all day long, man. And guys and gals used to come into the store to kind of listen to us talk. So, you know, shout out to Rex. Hey, man, shout out to the Wolfpack, man. Rex, Calvin, Reed, Rob, you know, Joey, all you guys, man. Shout out to the Wolfpack, man. Josh, I got you. Shout out to the Wolfpack, man, because we used to have that store wide open, man, when y'all worked there. When you, Rex, and Carl worked there, man, we had that store on lock back then, man. So shout out to those guys. And like I said, every time I used to come home after I went to the hat store, my dad used to say, you need to be talking sports where people can see you, not in a damn store. So shout out to my father for even, you know, influencing me to put this together. So, and like I said, I share the stage with two great fathers. So shout out to y'all as well. Like I said, man, you know, mothers get the love, and rightfully so. But it's that father who is making that hard push, you know, that hard push. And that's what we need sometimes. I know that's what I need at times, because I'm just going to be real. Like, y'all know me, man. I don't take too much stuff. I don't take too much serious. I'm just being real. I don't take too much serious. So just being real. I mean, it's just.
No, then I'm in trouble.
I don't take too much serious. My motto is this, man: don't take life too serious. You ain't gonna survive it anyway.
Yep.
It is what it is. So let's move into the NFL, man. Flash, I gotta give you the floor on this, man. Is Tua not wearing that Guardian cap too much of a risk at this point?
Well, so I made this point. You know, we talked about, I think in our NFL preview show, that we talked about player safety. And I took a little bit of a controversial stance in saying, like, I kind of don't care, because I don't think the league and the players care. Yeah. And until the league and the players show me that they care, then I don't care either. So, you know, the league keeps adding games. We're going to an 18-game schedule. You know, and players are offered stuff like the Guardian helmet, and 99.9% of the players don't wear it. Now, you could debate. There are certain studies I looked up this week that some say the Guardian helmet helps them between 10 and 20% prevent against concussions. And then there are other studies that have been used with it, or that have tested it, and it doesn't help at all. Yeah. So, look, I'm of the opinion. Do I think it's silly that he's not going to? Sure. Do I think it's his choice? This goes when he got hurt a couple weeks ago, and everybody was saying he should retire. I was kind of like, hey, this is his body. This is his choice. This is his career. This is his livelihood. He has a right to do this. And I'm not shocked that he came out and said, I'm not shocked that he said he wasn't going to wear the Guardian helmet. So, you know, I this is also a thing that this is a concussion thing, and I don't think there's anything that the league or anybody can do to stop physics. You can't. We are dealing with a violent sport with huge men that travel at fast speeds and stop immediately in a lot of cases. It's like what every NFL player says. It's like being in a car crash every 30 to 35 seconds. You cannot physically stop your brain from moving inside your skull. It's just not possible. So in my opinion, and this might be a controversial one, I think as a society and as a league, we just have to accept that this is a violent sport. I went to an amateur hockey league game last night. So my daughter plays, she's in her third year of hockey, and she plays out of a place here in where we live, and it's an amateur hockey league. Dude, those guys don't get paid shit, and they're killing each other. And I just don't. I'm not upset about or not. I'm okay with trying to make the sport safer in some aspects, but I'm also wanting to be realistic in it. These are violent sports. These are what men like to do. Men like to be violent. We just do. It's just in our DNA. It's in our genes. And a lot of men need an outlet for that. And I just think we should accept that. And so I'm of the opinion right now, if Tua doesn't want to wear it, do I think it's silly? Sure. Do I think it's silly that he's going to keep playing? Yeah, kind of. But, hey, what's up, Brandon?
What's up, Brandon?
But I just, again, I don't care as long as the players in the league keep showing me that they don't. If it's just a party political line, essentially, that the league points out, and then I just don't really care. So, and again, this is your body and your choice. So,
you don't mind me going, BR?
No, go for it.
I think it's silly that he's not wearing that helmet, dude. And my thing is, look, I think the NFL, I know, like I said, y'all know me personally. I know, considering my background, if people knew my background, they would probably say, well, that's kind of surprising. Hey, I think the NFL should have stepped in and did something. I don't want to see him out there. I don't. I really don't. And I'm scared for him because it's just like, what is that one hit? When is that one hit going to be where he doesn't get back up? And I understand. Oh, it's all good. And I understand that this is a violent sport. And, like I said, I played football. I was an amateur boxer, amateur MMA. I did pretty much every sport that you could possibly think of. But I'm scared for this young man. Because if you really, really look back at it, it really wasn't a hard hit that he took. It wasn't a hard hit. So what I'm concerned about, what's going to happen if you get that one hard hit? What's going to happen? And I know people are going to say, and this is no knock to you, Flash, I got to say that before. People are going to say, well, it's a violent sport. But the thing is, hey, if you know somebody's body is not equipped for that, it's just like, hey, man, look, you need to get the hell up out of here before something bad happened to you, and in turn, something bad happens to us. And I think he is making a terrible mistake by not wearing that Guardian helmet. I think they brought him back too soon. I'd have set him down for the rest of the season. But look, you out. And look, and whatever happens from here on in, then we'll come back and we'll revisit this thing next year. Because right now, I don't trust your body not to betray you. Like I said, it wasn't a hard hit. And ironically, he got hit by DeMar Hamlin. So it wasn't a hard, just bone-crunching Ray Lewis, Lawrence Taylor hit. It was a customary tackle. And it's just like he looked like he seized up. He did seize up right on the field. So I think Tua, be careful, man. Be careful. Because like I said, you might not be scared. And if I was on the field, I wouldn't be scared. It was like, okay, whatever. But I'm scared for you. I'm scared for you. And I think him not wearing that Guardian hat is a huge mistake. You need, if you, like I said, if you're not taking that hard, if that non-hard of a hit put your body into that compromising of a position, and we've seen you like that twice over before, then that is a scary proposition that we're looking at. I think he's making a mistake. But again, like Flash said, this is a violent sport. And if you are willing to say, hey, I'm not wearing that thing, it's going to slow me down. It's going to do, because, hey, I'm just going to keep it real. Hey, sometimes, you know, as an athlete, which all of us have been one, hey, your knee might be bothering you. Somebody might say, put on a knee brace. I'm not putting that crap on. That slows me down. So I can understand the logic behind it, because guess what? You know, there's a lot of, helmets that can help, especially this new helmet that he has. But I'm scared for him at this point, because like I said, it wasn't a hard hit that he got hit the last couple times. It was just customary things that happened, and then it just caused him to just, and I'm hoping that, and I'm going to just be real. Look, NFL, Miami Dolphins, if he comes back this week and gets another concussion, make him retire. Medical, retire him. It's not worth trying to trot him back out on that field just because you paid him $200 million. So make sure that you do the right thing. If he gets another concussion, especially this year, you have to retire him. You have to.
But if he keeps getting cleared by doctors.
My thing is, I'm gonna just be real. I'm questioning that medical team at this point. I'm really am, because there's just no way. I mean, I don't, like I said, when you're dealing with I can understand your arm, your hand. Hell, I shattered an ankle once and still tried to go out there and run. Thankfully, my father caught me on the way out the door. But my ankle was literally swollen. I can understand that, but this is right here. You're not going to get it. That brain, them nerves can't heal. So I really question the validity of those doctors at this point in time. And I have been really looking into it to see if an independent doctor has done it versus the Miami Dolphins doctors. But I'm really questioning the validity of that. And especially if you're seeing this young man seize up when he takes those hits. Like I said, he hasn't been hit hard. It's not been one of those Ray Lewis type hits where he just get his clock clean and you can understand, oh, okay, I see why that would cause a concussion. It's been one of those things where it's just like, damn, he got slumped to the ground and he has a concussion. He can barely get up. He's wobbling around like DJ Pooh did when he got after Debo snatched his chain. I mean, that's what he's doing. And it's not a hard hit. So I question the validity of a lot of these coaches, a lot of these doctors that when it comes to evaluating. Because like I said, your arm, one thing, your ankle, one thing. There's so many, man, let's just be real. There's so many damn surgeries out here nowadays to, regrow your limbs, and you could take a piece of your arm and put it on your leg. They literally took a piece of Steve McNair's hip and put it in his chest to repair his sternum. God rest his soul. So there's so many surgeries that you can do in order to alter yourself as far as your extremities are concerned. You can't repair this right here. Once this is gone, you're gone. And guess what? And I'm gonna just be real. When you're gone here, you're pretty much gone. And that's my take on it. But BRF?
Do I think it's a wrong decision? I mean, I do. I mean, I feel like, it'd be one thing if this was like a first time kind of freak thing. But I think that the fact that it's happened before, And like each time something like this happens, it's harder. I mean, it's going to get harder for his head to truly heal for that. Because that's something that's like, that's why a lot of times with concussions, they take longer than other just, structural injuries, because you're dealing with the brain. You're dealing with something. I mean, it's not going to heal as easily as like, other limbs and other body parts that you have. The brain isn't the same. Now, with that being said, I don't agree with him not wearing the Guardian cap, but I mean, at the end of the day, am I surprised he's not wearing the Guardian cap? No, I'm not. I'm not surprised at all, because at the end of the day, Tua Tagovailoa is like, and even when he was in Alabama, he's got that kind of like warrior mentality about him. Like he just like he don't quit. Like he's got that mentality in him. So I mean, I'm not surprised he's not wearing the Guardian cap. I just hope that the Miami Dolphins, that offensive line, I just hope they protect him. I hope he doesn't take a lot of shots, because do I worry about that neck? That when he gets hit. I mean, I probably won't be able to watch game, but I'll probably see highlights, and I'll probably look at it a little bit, like through clips and stuff like that. That first sack or that first hit he take, I'm a flinch. I'm a flinch. I'm a straight up flinch, because because now it's at the point you never know. You don't know. You don't know when the next hit is going to put him out. Now you don't know, and you hope to one day get to a kind of like a peace point where it's like, okay, he's played some games. He seems to be intact. His brain, everything about him is healthy. He seems to be intact. Okay, we can get back to playing football, not necessarily worrying about it much. But it's just, it's gonna be a while though. It's gonna be a while to really get over that. Being a fan, it's just, yeah, it's you just don't know when that next hit's gonna put him down. You just hope it does. You hope it doesn't come, but I mean, you can hope, but you still don't know. So I kind of hated he's not wearing it. I'm not surprised he's not wearing it, but I mean, it is his body. So I mean, the only thing we can do is just hope for the best. Hope that he can get through this and get back to playing some good football, and basically, being the reason why the Miami Dolphins offense is good, because that offense tends to that offense. Now we see the value of what he brings to that offense in terms of his throwing ability.
Did you see how all of a sudden when they started to stink, that the whole is like he's going to be forced to retire thing kind of just started to go away?
But I mean, I kind of figured he was going to come back this year. I mean, I kind of figured he was going to come back. But yeah, but at the same time though, I mean, they're dead last in offense in terms of points per game. They are dead last.
Yeah.
In points per game. So he couldn't have came back, and the fact that they're still like afloat as far as like a potential playoff spot, the fact that they're still afloat. So I wish the best for him. I hope he gets through this, and I just hope he gets back to playing good football. Because I mean, if he's healthy, I can think of two players that have missed the hell out of some Tua Tagovailoa, and that's Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They have missed the daylights out of that man. So if he's healthy, he gives them that dimension that they need to kind of get back on track. But most importantly, I just want to see him healthy and play good football and ultimately be able to live a good life after football. I think it's a crazy decision to not go with the Guardian hat, but I'm not shocked, and it's his body at the end of the day.
All right.
I will say that this, just in our lifetime, the conversation around concussions and around head injuries and just injuries in general have completely changed in just our lifetime. We used to admire guys like Ronnie Lott that literally cut off their finger to keep playing. And now we think the opposite. No, we don't admire it. We almost think it's stupid in a way. I think we that we've said it's not worth. Like I remember when Zion, his last year at Duke, and he had that injury and he came back, and so many people were screaming like, why are you still playing? You're not even getting paid, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting there going like, everybody that was screaming that had never played a competitive sport at a decently high level ever, where, and it's just a very weird dynamic that we've kind of shifted from. And I don't know. It's something that I constantly think about as a sports fan, and how do you, balance between the two of being safe and smart, between accepting what is.
Yeah, and we used to admire that, but the thing is, that's dealing with your limbs. Like I said, there's so many surgeries right now. You got surgeries out here that make folks taller.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not that far removed of like Favre getting a concussion, running back out onto the field, throwing a touchdown pass, and then going like, "Hey, dude," and then and we all having a giggle about it afterwards. Like that happened. That happened. That happened when he was still in Green Bay. He literally got concussed, and they tried to hold him off the field. He ran back out. This is against the Giants. Ran back out of the field, threw a touchdown pass, and they were like, "Dude!" And he held a press conference afterwards.
Yeah,
we all had a laugh about it, and it was like whatever. And so it's not just the limb thing; it's all around. We used to just call it, "Hey, you just got dinged."
Yeah.
You're just seeing the birdies. That's okay. You're fine. Get out there. And you're just seeing the birdies. And
what's so funny about that? It seems like you're seeing them.
Yeah. That's why they call it that. But but it's the conversation's completely changed. And like I said, I don't know how we. I mean, again, I think there's a point of like you just have to accept it's a violent sport, like to a certain extent. Like you have to just this just is what it is. But anywho, I don't want to keep going on this topic. Like we could keep going on this all night. I could rant and rave all night.
Hey man, that's what we here for, man. So anything you got to add, BRF, before we go to the next segment, brother?
I think what's brought the conversation on isn't necessarily just the on the field stuff. Is losing Dave Dearson, is losing Junior Seau with the whole CTE thing, and what ultimately kind of drove them past the brink of no return. And I think that's one of the things that have really brought that conversation on, because I think a lot of it is we want to see these players be able to live good lives outside of football after they're done. So I think that's what's brought the conversation on for me more than just as much, if not more than just the on the field stuff, is what are you going to do after you're done? Because you can't play football forever. You got to have a life after it. So I think that's kind of partly what's brought the conversation on. But I mean, yeah, we definitely grew up in those like golden age gladiator times of football. Like when you see like, saying back in the day, they're playing in like the cold weather, and you see them with the helmet off, and you see the guy with bald head, and you see the cold just like smoking off the top of their head, sitting on the sideline, like just images like that. So I mean, we kind of grew up with those images. So I mean, it's something that it's evolution, and it's just kind of where we're at now. So that's all I got to add to it.
Like I said, it really do sound like that when you get a concussion.
Yeah, it
does. You ask yourself, what the hell just happened?
I'm telling you.
I'm sorry. All right. because I was before I had one before. I thought that was a myth. You know, when you see the cartoons all the time, and then all of a sudden you get one, then you start looking around like,
oh yeah,
there is some stars in front of it. So, but I digress, man. Week 7. What is your game of the week?
For me, it was Atlanta Tampa before Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both got hurt, and now they're both out.
yeah.
So for me, if I had to go game of the week, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, but I guess I'm going to say it because it's going to get the attention. Dallas and San Francisco. Because it's one of those, it's one of those old, like it's one of those 90s rivalries that really would kind of like were like a step above other rivalries in sports and all that. And every time you get Dallas and San Francisco together in a game, I mean, people are going to talk and people are going to watch. So I guess if I had to go with the game of the week for me this week, it's Dallas, San Francisco, solely because Mike Evans and Chris Godwin got hurt. For me, it would have been Atlanta, Tampa all day, but Mike Evans and Chris Godwin got hurt. So that kind of took a lot of fun out of that game. Not having those two being out there playing Atlanta Sunday. It took some of the fun out of it. So I'm gonna go Dallas and San Francisco by default.
Just a little oopsies. It's week 8, not week 7.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it is 8 though.
I have 2. I got 2. My pick would have been Atlanta, Tampa 2. It was really sad seeing Godwin go down and Evans go down. Considering that Baker was having such a good year and both those receivers were having really great years, and you don't like seeing injuries like that, especially to really 2 great veterans. You could see how hurt that team was, especially when Godwin got hurt. So I hope he recovers from that because it was a pretty gruesome.
Dislocated. Dislocated ankle.
Yeah, and it didn't look too pretty. So I hope he gets back. And he's had 2 major injuries in the last handful of years. So I hope he gets back from that. But my other pick would have been Chicago, Washington, if Jaden Daniels plays. Because you got Caleb versus Jaden Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like Jaden's going to play because he's got a rib injury. He's got a cartilage rib injury. So if he plays that one, then that one. But if he doesn't, then my pick is Cincinnati, Philly.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think 2 teams that are kind of in similar situations right now. You have a lot of question marks in Philly because of the coaching, even though they're 4-2, and not everybody's really high on them right now. And they've been playing either really good or really bad, but they're still 4-2. And then you got the Bengals, who notoriously have started out slow every single year, except for Joe Burrow. He's been pretty much off the presses since he got back. Low-key MVP candidate, but T. Higgins might be out. But, this is a huge game for the Bengals to get back into that NFC North race and to keep pace with it. Baltimore goes into Cleveland this Sunday. So I don't expect Cleveland to win that game, but it's huge, a huge game for Cincinnati. It's also a huge game for Philly. So that is my pick for game of the week. If Jaden Daniels plays and is healthy, then I think Washington, Chicago would be my number 2, just because it's you got quarterbacks 1 and 2 in the draft playing, and they're both playing very well. Jaden Daniels extremely well. Caleb is starting to turn his season into what's up, dude? Turn his season into he's starting to turn it around after the first couple of weeks of being kind of yuck. So
what's up,
those are my 2 picks.
Quick update because I just saw it in the shout out to the fellas in the pod in our pod and grind chat. Ravens are going to be without Marlon Humphrey and Nate Wiggins.
God damn, that's nasty. That's nasty as hell. That's potato salad with raisins nasty.
Your two best playing corners gone. Oh boy, yeah.
I'm not worried. It's Jameis Winston. I mean,
bro, we say that. Yes, it's Jameis Winston, but we have to remember it is still Jameis Winston. Come on, man. Yeah, we pick on him. We pick on him because he threw the 30 interceptions, but we still forget he threw 33 touchdowns. He will sling the ball. He will throw it.
Yeah, just not to the right team.
Yeah. Biggest game to watch, and I'm glad y'all said that because this is going to segue into a whole nother segment as well. But I have to say the Ravens versus the Browns, for me personally. I want to see how Jameis Winston is going to bring fire to this team, if he's going to bring it. And I want to see what type of performance is Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry going to have on that defense. Because in reality, that defense is still good. They haven't allowed over 21 points, but against two teams. So that defense is still hella good. They have some hell of a good players on that team as far as defense is concerned.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see that offense against that defense. You know, and they just can't score enough points. So shout out to Timeless Youth, man. One of the best basketball content creators that you ever want to see on TikTok, man. Go follow him on TikTok. But the Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens, I got to say one, and I got to see if Atlanta's going to be able to win on the road. We are on the road, right?
Was that Penny
Yeah,
Hardaway?
it's in Tampa.
Yeah. So, which brings me to my next question. Speaking of Lamar, what would another MVP and a potential Super Bowl mean for his legacy? Whoever wants to go first.
I started. I think if he wins another MVP this year, just pack it up, lock it up. He's Hall of Fame lock. I think at this point in his career, he probably would go now with the resume, or he's close to going. But another MVP locks it up. I think 3 MVPs, Super Bowl or no Super Bowl, 3 MVPs, he's a lock for the Hall of Fame. Because we talk about how rare being just a multiple time MVP winner, and then you're talking about 3. You're looking at what, like, you're in that Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre tier of winning MVPs as far as winning 3 or more. So he gets another MVP. He's a Hall of Fame lock. You throw a Super Bowl on top of that. Whew. Then you're talking about throwing his name into the greatest quarterbacks of all time discussion. If you add a Super Bowl championship with that too, I'm just saying. I think 3 MVPs. I think 3 MVPs kind of start a conversation with that alone with the 3 MVPs, and then you put a Super Bowl on top of that. You can only find so much criteria to keep from talking about someone as far as like being greatest of all time. I think there's so much criteria, and you're starting to run out of that with Lamar Jackson the way he's been playing. You're starting to run out.
To be fair, I always say this. The only other quarterback that is similar, I will say similar to Lamar Jackson, that has 3 MVPs, and role was similar, very, very similar to his, because he had to be the dynasty. He was considered, a running quarterback that really couldn't hack it at first when he first came in the league. Thankfully, a good coach got a hold of him, but he had to sit for a minute. One of the main people that I compare Lamar Jackson to, because he has to be the dynasty in order to get to the Super Bowl, because he has to go through Patrick Mahomes. There's no avoiding it. His path is similar to Steve Young's. And when you think about Steve Young, people put him in top 10 conversations. As far as his passion, as far as his efficiency is concerned, as far as how well he perfected the West Coast offense, as far as his footwork, as far as how great he was. I mean, hey, Steve Young was my father's favorite player. I'm just going to be real. And like I said, Steve Young, he could throw on the run, he could scramble, he could get out of the pocket. And the main thing was he had trouble getting past the Dallas Cowboys, just as Lamar's having trouble getting past the I'm still stuck in the past. I was about to say the Kansas City Chiefs. I was about to say the damn New England Patriots, but the Kansas City Chiefs. But the thing is, him, Kenny Stabler, and Peyton Manning, they all had to beat dynasties in order to get somewhere. And guess what? At that time when they won, they was considered one of the greatest of all time because of what they were able to do with the ball. They just had to get that Super Bowl to submit it. Now, I do agree with this. I think he does need a Super Bowl because otherwise people are going to look. The real reason why I think he needs a Super Bowl is because without it, I think people are going to pick him apart. They're going to try to nitpick every little thing they can. 3 MVPs. What did you do in the playoffs? You don't have a Super Bowl ring. You can't be considered one of the greatest. It's going to be nitpicked. Get that Super Bowl ring, and now is the time because people can't key in on you anymore. They got to watch Derrick Henry as well. And now all of these receivers that you have are coming into their own. Mark Andrews is coming back in full swing. Isaiah Likely is doing real good. Bateman is doing good. He's spreading that ball around. Not to mention, if it gets even worse, Keon Mitchell is coming back after a long time on the shelf. So you got to worry about another running back that can get you good in a short yardage situation along with Derrick Henry. But I really do think that he can win another MVP. But I really think he has to win that Super Bowl. And I think this year, people don't want to acknowledge this. This is the perfect time to get the Kansas City Chiefs. They're not looking great on the offensive side of the ball. Matter of fact, they went throughout the entire month of October, didn't score a touchdown. So, yeah.
I have a question. I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Sort of off topic, but it bounces off your I'll respond to the Lamar thing. Who is the best quarterback in the league right now?
Lamar Jackson.
Patrick Mahomes.
It's Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
I know he's having a bad year, but it's still Patrick Mahomes, right?
I'm talking about right this instance, it's Lamar Jackson.
I'm still
overall, it's Patrick Mahomes. Right now, it's Lamar Jackson.
No. Here's the reason why. Because right now, if you go into a game right now, if you go in right and you had to bet your life on who's going to win that game, who's going to win that game?
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. End of discussion. I think, don't get me wrong, and this is not me Lamar hating. And look, I don't want Patrick Mahomes' legacy to keep going because the boy right here, that's he's coming after that legacy, and I want this legacy to stay what it is. So, but he's still the best in the league. I know he's having a weird, odd year. I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on, but they're still undefeated. He's making enough plays for them to win. Kansas City's at the point right now, they don't need to bloat. They just need to keep the game close. That's it. That's all they need to do. Andy Reid and them have kind of figured out just kind of how to win. And they don't have to drop 35 on you. They just kind of have to keep the game close and it's all good.
Don't necessarily try to win. Don't necessarily try to have a super win. Just survive.
Just survive.
Just survive.
Mahomes will do his thing. But back to Lamar Jackson. If he wins another MVP and he wins a Super Bowl, I think he gets into the top 15 all time at that point.
That's fair.
I can see that. Yeah.
I think 15. I think you start to get the conversation where he's like 12, 13, 14, that range. Like where he's, but he's got to win the ring though. That's the problem. Like it's because right now he's a fantasy football player's dream. That's all he is. And until he starts winning playoff games and can get past Patrick Mahomes and win a Super Bowl, then all of this means kind of nothing. So, yes, is he probably the front runner for MVP right now? Yes, with Minnesota losing this weekend, yeah. And even though Sam Darnold actually still played okay, he's probably the front runner. It's good. Honestly, I think the two front runners are him and Derrick Henry right now.
Yeah, I think all of us brought that up at
Josh Allen.
They've kind of played like ass the last 3 weeks.
Josh Allen still ain't thrown an interception though, and he's got comparable numbers.
Yeah. Okay. And he lost all of his. And I did say Josh Allen.
And if you're looking at the term most valuable, Josh Allen's right there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but you take Josh Allen off that team, he get injured for a week.
They are horrible.
Yeah, they are
horrible.
Yeah,
they're not gonna score a point. Matter of fact, they might not even be in field goal position.
No. Well, I think them getting Amari Cooper was big. They needed somebody, and I think them getting Cooper, that's a big. And he already played well in their first game there, so I think that's huge. And I know we just kind of brought up Patrick Mahomes. I think DeAndre Hopkins going to Kansas City finally, which is what should have happened basically 2 years ago. D-Hop's only 32, by the way.
Yeah.
And he's been with some bad quarterbacks. So, I kind of expect this to kind of be a little bit of a resurgence for this offense still. So, but yeah, I think those three. I think it's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Derrick Henry. And like I said, Sam Darnold's kind of fallen off because he was the cute pick for a while. But there's
golf.
Yeah, well, thank you. He's the sneaky. Also, Jordan Love still right outside the discussion.
You know who would be in the discussion right now if their team was better, and I'm putting a defensive player in the mix. Oh. You know who would be better if his team was better? Bruh, can we give Dexter Lawrence some love, please?
Yeah.
This man is 340 pounds, defensive tackle, leading the league in sacks.
Yeah.
If his team was better, he's the only defensive player that I think would warrant consideration. But if the Giants were competent, he would be right up there.
Yes, he would.
Yes. Sorry, I'm watching the World Series right now.
I am too.
Can I just say something? I bring up that the guys that have that dog in them. Juan Soto, he wants that smoke all the time. He looks every time he goes up to the plate. He looks like he's wants at bring it. Like he loves the big moments. I don't like the Yankees. But watching him, I know I'm wearing a Yankees hat, and that probably looks really stupid right now. But watching him go up to the plate in big moments and just kind of look at the pitcher and just look at him like, come on, let's go. I want to see your best stuff. That's like movie stuff. In ALCS, he did it. smacked a 3-run home run, ended the series essentially. Now he started this right now, possibly this comeback right now in the top of the 9th. Like he is just, if he keeps playing the way he does and kind of has big moments like that, we talked about if Aaron Judge can ever supplant or like get to the levels of Derek Jeter. Juan Soto's more of that Derek Jeter, like big moment type of guy than Aaron Judge is. Just my opinion, random baseball opinion.
But the thing is about Juan Soto, I think ultimately he's going to stay in the Yankees, but apparently, according to reports, he's not even a lock to stay.
Didn't he just sign with them?
No, he's not signed. No, I don't think. No, because I think he's gonna test free agency. I think he's opting. If he did, he's opting out. He's testing free agency after the season, I believe. It's either this year or next year, but he's gonna tell. He
just got to the Yankees this year.
Yeah, but I think he's about to. Yeah, but he's got an option, and he's gonna opt out because he can get a ridiculous contract.
Wow.
I think on Spot Track, I think has projected him in terms of check this out though. Spot Track is projecting for him his next contract because I think he could test free agency after this year.
You're right. He only signed a 1-year deal.
He only signed a 1-year deal, so he's a free agent after this. Spot Track is projecting 14 years at $513.6 million.
I mean, he's only 26, 25.
He came in the same year as Ronald Acuna, so about 25, 26.
Man. Who's going to – but who else besides New York has that kind of money? And L.A. And L.A. just dropped $500 million on Ohtani.
I'm hearing – besides New York and L.A., I'm trying to think.
Atlanta.
I think San Diego's got that kind of money. They could bring. I think San Diego could bring him back. I think who else? I think it's like the Western teams, and I think San Francisco got that kind of coin too. So I think it's just the Western. I think it's the Western teams.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
So, with this last topic of discussion, look, man, y'all cook on baseball, bro. I mean, do you think Atlanta got that type of money in order to pay that dude?
No.
Damn.
They do not. Because here's the thing. Because their guy is Max Fried.
Yeah.
And his projection is like 6 years, $136 million. I do not think we should let Max Fried walk on 6 years, $136 million. When you talk about his value, I don't think you let him. If it was like 180, yeah, but 130, I don't let him walk on 130.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Philly, Washington, the Mets, maybe. But
yeah, the Mets have that kind of money.
Mets have that kind of money. I think Boston, they have that type of money, but I don't think Boston's willing to spend it.
They don't want to spend that kind of money.
Not with those new owners, no, unfortunately.
They don't want to spend it. I think with that, I think like going back to Atlanta, what Atlanta needs to focus on, they need to get Orlando the RC the hell up out of there. He does not need to be the starting shortstop next year. He just doesn't. If I'm Atlanta, Flash, I'm sorry. If I'm Atlanta, hey, Willie, come on. Come on, Willie. Come be our shortstop. We need an upgrade. Come on, Willie Adames. No, he's the big projected guy as far as like going to Atlanta. So don't be shocked if he goes.
I'm not gonna talk to you guys for like a week.
I'm just telling you, don't be shocked if Willie Adames goes to Atlanta. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. Just don't be shocked. If Willie Adames has a Braves uniform on the 2025, just don't be shocked. Don't be surprised.
So, Colorado Buffs are 7-7. They tied with Cincinnati. So while y'all was watching baseball, I'm watching my specialty with football. So, hey man, look here. Let me tell y'all something, man. The audience who's watching, man. You want to talk baseball? These are the guys to talk to right here. Because I learned when we did the baseball show, I learned a hell of a lot about a little bit of everything when it came to baseball. Granted, I watched only one team. When the Braves out of the playoffs, I'm out the playoffs. The Braves losing, I'm losing. So to see these men right here who what happened?
That strikeout pitch.
Yeah.
Who got struck out?
Yeah. Well, bases loaded now with 2 outs, but that was an ugly pitch to swing after. Oh man, that was.
Let me tell you something. One of my favorite pitches to watch are good snapping sliders like that. Oh,
Touchdown Sador.
Yeah, I saw that.
Colorado just scored.
Yeah, Colorado the Buff. Oh yeah, MC Hammer in the crowd. Awesome. MC Hammer.
Of course, MC Hammer gonna support Dion. Boy, they got history. You know, MC Hammer gonna support Dion.
MC Hammer in the crowd.
Must be the money.
I never forget.
I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. I like that song. I don't care what nobody says. I like that song.
It's classic. We're at that our age range. Of course, we love that song.
I like that song.
Are you mad? I never forget that question he asked Emmitt Smith when he went to the Cowboys. My mom was happy when he came to the Cowboys because she knew they were about to win the Super Bowl that year. I'll never forget she said when he looked at Emmitt Smith and said one thing. Everybody wants to know one thing. Are you mad about money? So
I love Dion.
I just remember that quote he had when he was about to get drafted. And he was like, "Hey, you wouldn't have wanted Detroit to draft you?" I was like, "Man, I would have added them for so much money they'd had to put me on layaway."
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah, they man, look, that was a special time. That was a special time, man.
Hey, people will accept you if you talk a bunch of shit. As long as you're great, people don't care.
Do not care at all. Matter of fact, they love you when you can talk and back it up. Because it's
something.
I'm not gonna lie, there's something that we all wish that we could do. Because I'm not gonna lie, man, I ain't finna talk no trash. Because like I have a motto, man. Keep your words soft and sweet. You might have to eat them later on, and you don't want to be that guy that have to eat your words. So I'm just being real.
Okay, let's
down. So that's the end of the first. That's the start of the second quarter. So yeah, Sador got it.
Did you see the Travis Hunter? He did a backflip into the Spider-Man pose.
Yeah,
that was dope. That's my dude. He did the superhero land and stuff like that. I'm like, that's my highlight.
All right.
I'm waiting on them to win this game. I really want them to win this game because right now they bowl eligible. They'll make them bowl eligible after this. Hold on 1 second.
Yep, you're right.
Dodgers how's the World Series looking, guys?
Dodgers are up 2-0. They won again.
Yep,
they won again. Okay, don't mess around. Get sweep, New York. But I digress, man.
I see New York getting 2 at Yankee Stadium at least. It's coming back.
All right. Yeah, nothing would make me happy to see them get lit up. But I digress.
But my thing is this: New York is a very left-handed heavy lineup, and in that building, they're about to get the worst starters that the Dodgers have too.
Yeah,
the Yankees really might make this 2-2 again, and then make it the best of 3. Because even though the Dodgers held home field here, the Yankees about to get all the advantages swung back in their way for games 3 and 4. Don't be surprised if they win games 3 and 4. Don't be shocked.
That's really true about this Yankees lineup. Like, I'm not shocked that they put up a comeback here in the ninth inning. Like, they are they're like the Golden State Warriors of baseball. It's like they can be down by 7 runs, and it really isn't that much. It's all of a sudden in a half an inning, bang, and they're within a run or two. So I'm not this series. I'm surprised it's 2-0. I thought it would be a split, but the Yankees are by no means done.
Yeah. Hey, just real quick, man, before we end off the show, man. Y'all know a good subject that I've been talking about for the last 3 months, ever since January's WNBA, man. Got to give credit to the ladies. Hey, WNBA finals peaked at 3 million views at the ratings. And New York, the biggest market in America. Hey, regardless, New York is the biggest market in America. Them in LA. So to see New York and LA in the World Series, that is amazing. That's going to bring some eyeballs to television. But to see them not only have 3.3 million in ratings, but also seeing the New York Liberty with Breanna Stewart, just as she is on the cusp of free agency, how big is that for the NBA? Because this game, like I said, 3.3, that's without the cash cow in Caitlin Clark. That's without her. So you can imagine if they're able to hold on, because I think I'm just going to be real. This might be a hot take, but I'm just going to be real. If they can hold on to Kelsey Mitchell next year, because she's a free agent this coming year, they can hold on to her. We might very well see them in the finals next year, in their second year, because that's how good they would look down that stretch. But what does this mean for the WNBA?
I think it's really good. This part of it is really good. I do think, and we've kind of talked about this a little bit in other shows, that they need to really retool their marketing because the league is still losing money. I know I said an article in the chat, and the players the players union is already talking about opting out of the current bargaining agreement, and the players are going to want more money. Well, there's still no money to be had technically. So, I'm yay. This is good, but I'm curious on how the league needs to. I know the NBA is kind of. I also read another article of the NBA is really stepping in a little bit and helping them, including going into next year to help them make more money. But so I'm hoping that that's the case. But if you're going to be a big boy league, you need to start doing big boy things now. So I'm not trying to be like the party pooper. I just want to see what's best for the league. So, they need to start turning a profit soon. It shouldn't be immediately, but they need to start doing a better job marketing. They need to emphasize their stars more. They are starting to do that slowly. I was watching the game. She's not even in the NBA yet, but what's Haley?
Paige Becker?
Haley Van Lith.
Yeah. She was at some game and they showed her and she got a bunch of views on social media. Part of this is because she's a hot blonde. That helps too. But you need to start dropping stuff like that. You need to start doing stuff like that. You need to start advertising, putting those players' faces out there, doing commercials, have Caitlin Clark go to some random event or whatever and get her face up on the TV and So I'm happy that the ratings were so high, which is great. And everything was sold out for the most part, or the attendance was really good as well. I just want to see, let's keep going. That's it.
BRF?
I definitely think the 3.3 million ratings was a good thing because, when you go into a little history lesson, when you look at it, you have one of the 3 WNBA franchises with if Minnesota had won, they would have become the third WNBA franchise with 4 championships. So you're looking at one of the preeminent dynasties of the WNBA against, let's be honest, I mean, the perennial bridesmaids. Because I think no team has gone to the WNBA finals more than the New York Liberty without winning a championship. So I mean, I like the kind of historical aspect of that. But 3.3 million in 3.3 million in viewers as far as like the TV rating, getting them without Caitlin Clark is big for them because I mean it shows it's the fact that they have it's other good players as good as Caitlin Clark is. I mean, we got to also understand that as a league that there are a lot of really good players within the WNBA. And like somewhere in this game, you got Nafisa Collier with Minnesota. You got Breonna Stewart. You got Sabrina Ionescu with the Liberty. I mean, you had talent. You had talent in this series, and it was really it's good knowing that other players can keep those ratings there, regardless of not having Caitlin Clark, not having the big money. The big money player there. That's really good for them. But yeah, like Flash was saying though, they definitely need to advertise it because you can get the views. You can get the views regardless of who makes the finals. You see this now. Now you have to capitalize on this. Your marketing team needs to get on their A game and understand what they need to do to help you make this money. Y'all have no business losing $40 million like you're about to lose. Y'all have no business losing $40 million. Just none. And that's what they're slated to lose as far as their revenue, $40 million.
Yeah.
Y'all need to find something in order to recoup this because y'all have such a prime opportunity to do something special with this league. So y'all need to it needs to be all systems go from this point forward as far as their marketing team, their scheduling people, being able to get this right and line everything up the way it needs to be because I think they have a real shot to do something with the WNBA, and I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them backpedal. I want to see them keep pushing, particularly with the crop of young women that's about to hit this league within the next 2 to 3 years. It's time to push. It's time to go.
Yep. And look, this is going to sound kind of, well, I don't care, whatever. I'm not apologetic, really. Look, sex sells. When women's sports is really popular, like you go to like tennis, Anna Kournikova, women like that got stupidly over and really popular. Yes, Serena Williams.
You mean Horny Kokova?
Yeah. And
who never won nothing.
I don't care if she
never won nothing.
She never won a major, but that woman was fine.
Yeah, she was.
She didn't win nothing. I mean,
that's okay.
Didn't win shit.
But she set the groundwork, though. She set the groundwork for like Serena, that who won it has won everything, but also was sexy doing it at the same time. So.
Yeah, Horny Kokova. I'll never forget that. That is.
I'll never forget Anna Kournikova. That's for sure. That was a big part of my childhood. Anywho, all right,
Paul Heyman.
But I'm saying though, like when you got girls like Haley, when you got like Angel Reese and her Reese's Pieces and everything else, like I know we're in a very sensitive, overly sensitive generation right now, but at the end of the day, sex sells. I'm not saying be gross about it. I'm just saying put those girls out. Girls love fashion. One of those big things, like that's the thing. Like, how all the NBA players walk off the bus in their little fashion thing? I noticed they do it too. Have those girls do the
They
fashion
do that, by the way. WNBA tunnel.
Yeah,
but they need to put it on television.
Yep, and then have the girls go on their Instagram and be like, "Hey, this is where I got this outfit. And this is where I got that outfit." That'll bring.
They're not doing a good job of that at this point. They're pretty much selling themselves at this point.
Yeah,
like WNBA tunnel. Like I subscribe to that on Instagram, and you're absolutely right, Flash. Don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Hey, advertise that. It shouldn't be where you have people are talking about, Angel Reese and some of these other players have the podcast and stuff. That's because they're having to sell them their damn selves.
Yeah,
you're not selling
they
them.
should be. Why is it okay for everybody else to brand themselves out, but these girls can't? They should be having their own podcast. Everybody has a podcast. Like she should have. She just could have called it like the Reese's Pieces time or something, just because I wanted to cut of the profits. But whatever. They should go out there. Like I said, do your thing, sell your thing. I'm not saying be, go all OnlyFans with it. I'm not being that gross. I'm just saying, do your thing. Like, get yourself out there and do it. Again, if you guys, I've been hearing for years that this is a big boy league. Well, now you're doing big boy things. So now you need to start doing those big boy things and making money. That's the thing. At the end of the day, it's making money. So let's see.
Exactly.
Hey, look, you got a major selling point next year in the WNBA. The All-Star game is in the same place that Travis Hunter strikes. No, was that Shiloh. But you got a major selling point next year. A lot of the WWE events are going to be in Indiana next year. A lot of them. Then the WNBA All-Star game is going to be in Indiana next year. Home of your greatest attraction. Sell it.
Yeah.
Sell it. The thing is this. When Michael Jordan, when the slam dunk contest was in Chicago, only thing you saw was Michael Jordan. When Ryan, remember what I think it was Ryan Howard. When Albert Pujols, when the All-Star game, the MLB All-Star game was in Los Angeles, when he was at Los Angeles, well, my bad, when he was in St. Louis. All you saw is Albert Pujols all over the place. And he even said, man, it to a certain point when he was at the plate. He was like, hey, man, you ain't hitting right. He said, man, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? So sell it. Don't just be out here just depending on the sport to sell itself, because guess what? You're missing opportunities. You got some of the greatest. You just had not only a great season, but had a historic season. And if there's any other person that you should be recognizing right now, along with Caitlin Clark, it has to be A'ja Wilson.
I just want to point out right now, if I don't see Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson front row at the Royal Rumble in February, then you are not doing you are not doing smart things.
Now, I will give the WNBA credit. They did have Angel Reese and A'ja Wilson on the cover of the Wall Street Journal. So I will give them credit on that. But you need to sell them. It does not need to be the players selling themselves. Y'all need to be building stars. That's the one thing the NFL does. They're going to build their stars. And like I said, it's a shame that, guys like myself, when Caitlin Clark took on A'ja Wilson for the first time, we're looking like, okay, y'all are not selling this game. It should be, okay, the MVP versus the potential rookie of the year. Y'all should be selling it.
Yeah. I still wanted – you had a prime opportunity. I'm still shocked we didn't see this commercial. You had a prime opportunity when Caitlin Clark was coming into this league, and then like the old guard, they had the Olympic team versus the All-Star team. You had a prime opportunity when all the old heads and all the veterans were in the league, when Caitlin Clark was like, "Oh, this is the big girl league," and blah 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 blah, talking their shit. Dude, you could have had a awesome WNBA commercial of like the young cats versus the old guard, and just and they never did that. Like, why? I don't know. I'm just, we're just a couple idiots here on a Saturday night, and we're thinking of this stuff. And these, you tell me they don't have any marketing majors in there at all?
Hey, man, look here. The first thing I'm doing next year, look, you got all these free agents. You got Dejanay Carrington, she's a free agent. Kelsey Mitchell's a free agent. Breanna Stewart, who just won a championship, she's a free agent. You got all these free agents. The first thing I'm advertising is what is the potential if they go play in Indiana?
Yeah.
What is the potential of Breanna Stewart teaming up with Caitlin Clark? What is that potential? What does that look like? Not to mention, you got to think about the Aces. They're about to rebuild. They just fired their general manager. After 2 championships, the Las Vegas Aces general manager just got fired. Just got let go. They're restructuring the front office.
Oh, that's the other too. You know what? Front offices for these teams, there's gonna be a lot of pressure because there's mountains of money to be made, and you're gonna see people like that get fired left and right if one little thing goes wrong, because there's big wads of cash that everybody sees, and if you're not succeeding immediately right away, it's gonna be your job.
Yeah, man. We just saw the legendary Teresa Witherspoon. She just got fired by the Chicago Sky. Not to mention our coach and our general manager down here for the Atlanta Dream. They just got fired. They made the playoffs this year. So I mean, hey, WNBA, man. Look, I don't. The main thing y'all need, y'all have stars. Y'all need market. We market these young women. It shouldn't be where they have to be all over the place in order to be recognized. And you know, essentially the fans are creating stories about it. Do the right thing, advertise these players so they can get the attention that they need and get the money that they need so you can turn a profit. Because what we would hate to see is the league fold because you're not doing your job at marketing. Really, if you want me to be honest with you, the fans, we really sold the WNBA because everybody was trying to see the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark rivalry. Then as everything started going on, everybody said, oh, man, we got more than Caitlin Clark. There goes Asia Wilson. She was the MVP last year. I'm talking about the casual fan. I'm not talking about fans like myself, BRF, you guys. We're savants. I was following the NBA even when Sue Bird was there. But as they started seeing these other players, then you started bringing awareness. And guess what, man? Women's basketball in college is more popular than the dudes right now. It's more popular than the dudes.
Very true.
So you have a springboard. College basketball for the women is what it was for the men. We get to see Juju Watkins grow into her own. She still has 2 more years at USC. And that's
what I'm saying though, and not to sound gross, but you know, guys love college women. And
you just
I'm just saying, you know.
Hey man, look, when I was in college, I was trying to let me not tell on myself on live television.
I'll tell
When I was in college, I was dating a girl 27 years old. So I mean, I ain't finna even go.
I was 19 days. I'm just saying though, like it's not a mistake you throw Haley up there randomly. She's still in college. She's a good looking blonde. Like you have that. Besides the fact that you have that college, you can build these stars in college. Like,
but yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Look at Livy Dunn.
They're automatically being built already. So
you could argue,
Fly J Johnson, they got a podcast. You know, they do it with Juju Watkins and Paige Beckers. I mean, like I said, and you get to see, and like I said, unlike the men's basketball, which are one and done, you actually get to see these players grow. Like right now, Juju Watkins, she's the highest paid woman as far as on Nike. She got a very lucrative contract from Nike. People are making the argument because they're trying to find the paperwork that she might be making more than Caitlin for Nike at this point.
She might.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're paying this person, we want to see what she is. So hey, let's just see it, man. You got to advertise these young women, man. Football don't sell itself. Stars sell football. But and the thing is, you see that in college with the Colorado Buffs. Although Deion Sanders has all this bravado or whatever, he's a star. And guess what? When you have a guy who has a lot of bravado, the first thing you're gonna do, put him on TV.
Right.
That's what you need to do. Put him on TV.
I just want to point out something. Like, who's the biggest college athlete star right now?
Juju Watkins.
Livy Dunn.
Who?
Livy Dunn.
The hell is that?
Livy Dunn. She's a gymnast for LSU. She makes a million. You never heard of Livy Dunn?
No, I don't watch gymnastics.
I'm not saying you have to watch gymnastics, but she's like the TikTok girl. She makes $1 gazillion off of TikTok, NIL. Like, she's
but I know who you're talking about now because her and Angel Reese had a documentary. They were the highest paid in college. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah,
but
really done. Like, women right now, guys, what I'm trying to say is, like, to your point, women right now in college sports can profit off of NIL more than I think a lot of men can. Like, the top men in, like, football and basketball, of course, are going to make their money. But, man, dude, like, there is bank. There's money to be had. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the NBA has got to get their act together because there's no reason they should, like how BRF said, they should be $40 million in the hole. No reason.
Yeah, no reason. But on that note, man, look, we're going to end the show, man. The Colorado Buffs will drive it downfield against the Cincinnati Bearcats, man. And they're running the ball pretty good, as a matter of fact, man. Big ups to them shoring up that running game. One game, and they're bowl eligible, man. So I'm hoping that the Colorado Buffs pull out this game. But Flash, Mr. Controversy, let the people know where to follow you.
Follow me on TikTok and Instagram, Flash22, all underscores under in Flash. I'm thinking of changing up my my Instagram a little bit. And I post a lot of family stuff on there, so I'm going to probably separate one and do a different one. That's going to be just pure social media focused. So we watch out for that. I'm going to be dropping another Aaron Rodgers video tomorrow. So just be prepared for that. Yeah, you can catch me there. And I here every Thursday night with these two fine gentlemen, better men than me. And yeah.
BRF.
Well, as always, BRF Sports is the TikTok handle. Follow me there. My link tree is in the bio. It's always a pleasure to get on here with Flash and Champ. Hey, whether it's Thursday nights, whether it's Saturday nights, hey, it's always a pleasure because we have fun. That's the great thing about this. We have fun doing this. So I'm just enjoying this step by step. And it's like I always say, a topic not thought about is a topic not talked about. To everybody out there, y'all be well. Enjoy the rest of our weekend. Hey, honestly though, I can just say I'm lucky to have two guys like this that I can share a platform with. So I'm gonna continue to have fun. So shout out to you two, and we just gonna keep it rolling. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to Madison, Georgia. We 706 as well, my fellow 706 brother. We gonna keep doing it.
Shout out to Columbus, Georgia. Y'all doing real good tonight. I'm proud of y'all. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. So that's number one. Number two, I would be remiss if I did not say big shout out to my older cousin, William Rhodes. We miss you, bro. We lost you this week. We love you. Shout out to the family, man. My heart goes out to you and those two and your two boys, man. And my only hope is they end up knowing how great their father was. Not just as a soldier that served in the Marine Corps, but as the man itself. So big shout out to Charles William Rhodes, man. Lance Corporal for the Marines, my cousin, and my brother. So, I mean, see you on the other side, man. Godspeed, and we love you. And on that note, man, hey, check us out next Thursday, man. We had a special Saturday show. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. And look here, man, let me break some down to y'all real quick. This is not a political statement. This is your right. So exercise it. Go out there and vote. I don't care who you vote for. Just go out there and vote. I don't care who you vote for. Go out there and let your voice be heard, not only in the presidential election, but in your communities as well. In your community. Like I said, I don't care who you vote for. You can vote for the Teletubbies for all I care. But get out there and make a difference in your community and vote. And vote. And on that note, we are out. Holla at it.